Okay, let's try and unpack this. Have you been keeping an eye on coffee prices lately? Because things have been moving. We've got a fascinating deep dive into a recent market slump and maybe what's going on behind the scenes.
It really has been quite a ride. What's fascinating here is how quickly the market moved. Our source, a recent coffee bulletin, it points to some pretty dramatic shifts.
Like what specifically?
Well, Robusta in London dropped a rare 7%, and Arabica in New York saw an even more surprising 8% decline. The speed, really.
Wow, 8%. Okay, so what does this all mean? Our mission today is to explore the mechanics behind these drops and, critically, this speculated big player strategy that, could really redefine things for everyone involved. Farmers, traders.
Even down to the cup you drink, potentially.
Exactly. So the scale of these recent drops is pretty stunning. Domestically in Vietnam, coffee fell an average of 450 dong. It landed around 116,500 dong per kilogram. And internationally, Robusta in London hit, 4,450 USD a ton?
That's right. And Arabica in New York plummeted down to 375.65 cents per pound.
The interesting bit, though, is that most Vietnamese farmers had apparently already sold their crop. So they were kind of watching from the sidelines this time.
Right, which is important context, because this wasn't just, organic selling pressure driving things down. The report highlights a really key catalyst, an increase in the ICE margin requirement.
Margin calls.
Exactly. That's the collateral funds need to hold. When those requirements went up, it triggered forced selling. Lots of funds had to liquidate positions fast.
Especially if they were highly leveraged, I imagine.
Precisely. And then you had the automated trading systems kick in. The algorithms just accelerated that downward pressure.
Hitting stop losses all the way down.
Yeah, hitting successive sell orders, stop losses. It caused prices to tumble much faster than, well, anyone really anticipated.
So it's less about the actual coffee beans at that moment and more about the financial chessboard, you could say.
That seems to be a big part of it.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The report then outlines this specific big player playbook.
Yeah.
It describes it like a three-step dance aimed at reshaping the market.
That's the core speculation, yes. The expected strategy unfolds in pretty distinct phases, according to this analysis. First, the idea is these players actively push prices down, the goal, to sort of weed out the smaller, less capitalized buyers. Shake them out.
Okay, create some space.
Then, step two, they aim to accumulate heavily, buy up lots of coffee, but at a specific low point. The report targets around $4,200 to $4,300 USD per ton for Robusta.
A specific target range.
Very specific. And finally, step three, after they've built up their positions, trigger a rebound, push prices back up, initially aiming for maybe $4,800, but with an ultimate target of $5,200 USD per ton.
That sounds pretty calculated, almost Machiavellian. Does the report suggest this is a sure thing?
Not a sure thing, no. It frames it more as a strong possibility, an anticipated strategic move. It's an interpretation of market signals. The hope expressed in the report, though, is that if this scenario plays out, well, it could actually mean a positive start for Vietnamese farmers heading into the new harvest.
How so?
Because prices would potentially rally as these big players, having bought low, push the market back up.
Right, creating a better price environment for the incoming crop. But it's not just these potential market maneuvers, is it? There are wider global things happening, too.
Absolutely. Context is key here. And there's this interesting tension. We're seeing abundant supply coming out of Brazil right now. Their harvest is nearly done. Big crop.
Okay.
Yet the inventories on the ICE exchange, the official stockpiles, remain surprisingly low.
Huh. So lots of coffee being harvested, but not much showing up in the exchange warehouses.
Exactly. It raises that question. Is this low inventory part of the setup for the big players to absorb the Brazilian supply at their target low price? Or does it signal something else, maybe future tightness, once this current crop is sold?
Interesting point. And you also mentioned macro factors. The U.S. just cut interest rates.
Right, which can influence commodity prices generally. And then there's this U.S. court ruling expected in November.
On a tax for Brazilian coffee.
Yes, that could be a significant market shifter depending on how it goes. These external things could definitely disrupt or, even support a strategy like the one outlined.
In other countries.
Well, globally, we're seeing moves too. Ethiopia's setting up a new national coffee platform. Seems like they're aiming for serious reform, maybe become a bigger player. Meanwhile, Costa Rica is facing some headwinds. Strong currency hitting farmer income, plus they're projecting maybe a 10% production drop next season.
So regional supply issues there.
Yeah. And then there's the regulatory side. The ITC just issued new guidance on the EUDR, that's the EU deforestation regulation.
Ah, yes, the deforestation rules.
It means more compliance, verifiable deforestation-free sourcing. That's going to add costs and could shift market access for some producers. It's another layer of complexity.
So, pulling all these threads together,
Mm.
the main takeaway seems to be that this recent coffee market volatility, it might be less about fundamental demand shifts
Mm.
and more about strategic plays, maybe orchestrated by these large market participants.
I think that's a fair summary of the report's perspective. Ultimately, understanding these market dynamics, the potential influence of, big players, it's crucial. And it really raises an important question for you, the listener. When you see a sudden market shift like this, how much is just organic supply and demand? And how much might be, well, strategic play?
Definitely a lot to chew on for your next cup of coffee. Keep an eye on those prices
Yeah.
and definitely the news around that U.S. court decision in November. It seems the coffee market is anything but simple right now.